Hello everyone and welcome to some DotaPit EU action. I'm going to be Llama Down Under covering London Conspiracy versus Yellow Submarine, and joining me will be Mini Esports. How you doing?
Hey Llama, yeah, I'm doing good, thanks, and I'm looking forward to this game.
Yeah, and hopefully everything's right, folks. We should have just had a short, tiny bit of downtime on the stream just because my OBS crashed earlier. Had to quickly fix some files and then put it back up, but we should be grand. Yeah, okay. Looks like I'll just double check that everything's in order. Either way, getting into this draft. Now, I haven't seen Yellow Submarine ever face up against the new London Conspiracy. I don't know how well that's going to go for them, but the new London Conspiracy has been looking very strong.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just going over the draft now already. Picking up Winter Wyvern and Ember Spirit. It's quite interesting to me. It was like Winter Wyvern, strong support regardless. But Ember Spirit this quick in the draft is a little bit interesting to say the least, because it is rather countered. But we'll have to wait and see.
Dire team ban.
Yeah. So I think it's something where London Conspiracy, obviously Baby Knight, I think very famous for playing the Ember Spirit. And we'll just see how that goes for him, as you said, with it being picked up so early. But already one side having Doxia AA, Wyvern Ember on the other. I mean, we got a good game on our hands, most likely.
Yeah, definitely. I like how Yellow Submarine sort of responded with Doxia AA. I think Doxia AA is actually stronger than Winter Wyvern and Doxia, just because although it lacks the control, it gives a lot more damage. Because what I've seen more often than not is when you have like the Winter Wyvern Doxia combination, is that yes, you give them loads of lockdown, but with the Winter Wyvern ulti, like everyone takes obviously 70% less damage except for the primary target. But with Doxia, the vacuum wall into AA plus does so much damage if you can land it properly. And not only that, but it's a strong counter against Winter Wyvern already. So I mean, just from the first two picks, I prefer Yellow Submarine's draft already.
Yeah, it's looking good, but a lot more draft to go, so we'll see. A nice job on London Conspiracy banning out some of the heroes that can give Ember Spirit a lot of grief. Obviously that long silence from Night Stalker, and then Queen of Pain naturally builds into an Orchid. And if this is Ember versus Quap mid, it's really a rough matchup. So
I mean, it's a rough matchup. I mean, it's playable if you can dodge the dagger with Sight of Fist, but yeah, it's something a matchup you don't really want to play against regardless. And yeah, the silences are annoying, but again, like there is play around with if you like pick up Manta. But if you're playing Ember, like you don't really want to go Manta. It just sort of delays the Daedalus and then Battle Fury timings. But they pick up the Yellow Submarine, they pick up Spirit Breaker here, which is a hero that does pretty decent against a lot of split pushes, just like the likes of Ember. So.
yeah, it's also going to be really interesting. I feel like Spirit Breaker is great at eliminating heroes that are trying to farm in the jungle or be very mobile, like the Ember Spirit. Decent amount of lockdown. I wonder how London Conspiracy is going to try to deal with that. I feel like Slaughter's still in the pool. It is possible to get the Slitherine crush off before you get hit, or you know, you can hit before somebody gets hit. And yeah, they go with it. There's going to be some Slaughter action. I'm actually a little surprised. I feel like when teams are forced to ban the Wisp, we end up seeing a lot of these really strong heroes coming through.
Yeah. So I'm assuming Speed Doxia, Spirit Breaker in the offlane, a strong combo that I think London Conspiracy will need to pick up. It depends if the Ember Spirit's going to be short or mid, to be honest. And one thing I don't see a lot of teams do is they barely ever go aggressive against the Ember Spirit. Like Ember Spirit, yeah, he is very, very strong if he gets to the mid game and late game of items, but I think he does have a weakness in the laning phase. Yeah, again, like he's very strong in the lane phase if he can get you levels, but if you can do dual lanes against him, force the support to sit in his lane, then you can really keep him under-leveled. So that's what they might look to do here with Doxia plus Spirit Breaker.
And Doxia plus Spirit Breaker has one of my favorite interactions where, of course, the Bash gets bonus damage based on your move speed. So if you put the Ion Shell plus you Surge up the Spirit Breaker, he's suddenly doing damage output like a truck, which I really like to see. But either way, they're going to go with Alina on Yellow Submarine. And I feel like it could... I'm pretty sure it's mid here, just because I'm assuming it's a Spirit Breaker support with AA support. She's still a really strong mid laner, and she is one of those, if the Ember is going to be a mid Ember, I mean, she just knocks off that Flame God immediately.
Yeah, definitely. I wonder if she's going to build Yules this game. Like it's something that's normally always built on Lena, but something I saw Miracle do in the majors whenever he's against an Ember Spirit, because you can never ever land a Yule stun combo against an Ember, because the Remnant will always come out before the stun comes out. He went drums into Shadowblade and Atos, I think, rather Atos, and it's saying that it actually works quite well because you can get the jump on Ember because you don't have to rely on the Yule setup. You can stun straight out of Shadowblade. No wonder he's going to do it, but I think Lena's a good pick here, as you said. Something that will dominate mid regardless who he's against, and also works very well against Winter Wyvern because of that Cold Embrace target will get blown up regardless. But they are lacking a lot of physical damage though, so they're going to have to pick that up from their short lane carry.
Yeah, and it is something where, as well, for the slaughter, we've seen this before, you're trying to sprint in to get off an initiation, maybe before you have blink, or maybe you're trying to sprint out before you have your force staff. Lena blows you up because of the extra damage you take, but London Conspiracy, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to pick up maybe a more sustainable mid laner. How do you feel about... I mean, it's something we've been seeing a lot lately in Invoker, if they're able to do it against this lineup of Yellow Submarine. I feel like it would give London Conspiracy some nice team fight if they also had an Invoker, but it is... You know, you need someone who's confident playing it, and you do need a bit of protection, especially since I feel like Quas Wex is the name of the Invoker these days.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Minnie, I believe you haven't pressed your push to talk key.
Oh man, I do this every single time.
Yeah, that's good.
Reserve time.
Is the only problem with Invoker is that he'll need a lot of levels and a little bit of farm as well. And the problem that London Conspiracy have right now, what's lacking in their draft, is fighting from minute 8. Like Slarder's going to need his blink before he can really be involved in anything, and that's going to happen in like 15 minutes. Ember Spirit, yeah, he's a very strong timing in the early game, but then Winter Wyvern and Bane, they need levels to really be effective. So picking up another hero that will need kind of farm and level to something that I don't think would be right. I think Gyrocopter would have been better, and then just you'd have to sack the Ember in mid against Alina, because at least Gyrocopter can fight with the cooldown. But we'll have to see what London Spirit are going to finish up the draft with, because they need something that I think can fight early, because otherwise I think this Darkseer Spirit Breaker combo is going to absolutely dominate in the laning stays.
It also does feel like the team fight for London Conspiracy, a lot of it's going to be based around, as you mentioned, Ember. If he gets big, it's no problem. But initially, you're going to have to land these big Winter's Curses or have Bane helping to pick off solo individuals with that Fiend's Grip. I'm not seeing a huge amount of team fight synergy coming out from them. So, obviously something where it feels like the Darkseer Spirit Breaker a bit overwhelming. On the upside, at least, if the Ember does go mid Spirit Breaker, if he charges that Ember, if he gets under tower and can get off this searing chains, you can kill the Spirit Breaker and punish his overextension, so it's just going to be interesting to see what exactly comes out.
Yeah, definitely. Like what I'm just thinking about right now is in the draft is that if Yellow Submarine literally just go as 5 and just face rush him in the first 10 minutes, what can London Conspiracy really do to stop it? They pick up another carry that can fight very early on, like the Rogue King, because of his inbuilt sort of second life, and so I don't know, I think that the first 10-15 minutes is going to say a lot about this draft, honestly, because look how aggressive these heroes are from the side of Yellow Submarine. Like, you got Spirit Breaker plus Darkseer in the offlane, like, everyone does so much work, and that's the hero they'll actually need, because, like I said, if they pick up an Invoker, he'd need a lot of levels and farm to be useful, but at least Viper can dominate the mid lane, get himself some levels and farm, and if Yellow Submarine do start going as 5 very, very early on, Viper at least give something in the team fights at, like, the 10-minute mark or so.
Yeah. It's also going to be something where I feel like the Viper, a little bit of tankiness, right? You help out. If they waste time trying to kill this Viper, maybe they ever try to get a pick off. We've seen this before. Viper just takes way too long to go down. You expend a lot of resources, and suddenly the rest of their team will be able to roll you over.
Yeah, definitely. And they needed a kind of a frontman as well, because Ember Spirit is too squishy to be really sort of tanking up damage, and Slardar, again, without Blink Dagger, is going to be dying quickly. So I think Viper is a nice pick here. It's going to slow down the Luna's farm quite a bit as well, but I still think the aim of the game for Yellow Submarine is a lot of pressure early on and try and dominate from there. And I have to wait and see if London Conspiracy can actually sort of delay that early pressure.
Yeah. So we'll be heading right into it, and let's quickly do some team introductions. So we've got, this is, okay, I don't believe, or at least for me, it might be something where I have to restart based on when the ticket was applied. So I got all the fake names on the teams. We've got, for me, and what the viewers will see, is Orbit on the Darkseer, PSM on the Ancient Apparition, QXY on the Lena, Musical Note on Spirit Breaker, and Arts on the Wraith King.
Arteza, on the road.
Oh, yeah,
But
Arteza.
yeah, and then Kefka on Slardar for London's Conspiracy, Baby Knight on Ember, Selene on Bane for Winter Wyvern. We have Furious Monkey, and finally we have Yellowpea or Jellypea on Viper.
Yeah, it's actually going to be interesting. I definitely thought they were going to put the Viper mid to have just the Viper say we're going to win this
30
lane, but they're putting him
seconds
up
to
in the safe lane farming. Baby Knight I know is very confident on his Ember Spirit, but I have to say I wouldn't want to play that into Alina.
Yeah, I think he might get a lot of help from the Bane, so I think that's what they're going to do. It's something that EG have been running quite a lot. They have Fear plus Samao in the mid, like you just have Fear and Bane. He'll just stack camps while he just harasses the enemy mid laner, and I think it will work quite well. That way, a Viper can do quite well, or quite decently against the Darkseer Spirit Breaker in the top lane. And again, it just secures farm for the Ember. If Ember was top, he might struggle to get farm against Darkseer Spirit Breaker. So yeah, decent laner here so far from London Conspiracy.
He's
And yeah,
also...
look, here comes Bane.
Yeah, not only does he come Bane, got a nice ward, gonna be able to dodge those dragon slaves, ideally, as long as he's paying attention. So, and we need a second, folks. So with that, just looking at, don't know, just looking at these two lineups, I have to say I'm a little bit in favor of Yellow Submarine, as you mentioned. A lot of it, in my opinion, though, does come down to if this Wraith King cannot get enough farm in lane, maybe a few kills even, it's going to get really rough because Viper is excellent at kiting you. Ember could potentially go into, I mean, he can stand on the side of the fight, don't have to get too close to the Wraith King. Bane with that Enfeeble also just makes your life harder as a Wraith King, you know, there's just a lot of things, tools I think London Conspiracy have to keep him out.
Yeah, definitely. And with the thing with how London Conspiracy are going to lane this with Bane and Ember mid, the problem is the only other range support Yellow Submarine has is obviously AA, and if AA roams mid, then Slardur's going to be 1v1 against it as a Wraith King, which Slardur's going to get a lot of farm, which I don't think they want to do. And you can't really have Spirit Breaker and Lena in the middle lane because, you know, what is Spirit Breaker really going to do? He's not going to be able to do much really in terms of harassing mid lane. So this mid lane is going to go well, I think, for London's Conspiracy. So I think it's going to rely a lot on top. Darkseer and Spirit Breaker are going to have to do a lot of work for them to try and get their early pressure on the map.
And with that, we have the game getting back underway. We're going to see the traditional 2 in mid for both sides. I do feel like this is an interesting thing. We see it every single game. I actually think it really... Oh, okay. That was a quickly eaten ward. I think it makes life a little bit easier for the off lanes, actually, because, you know, traditionally in an off lane, you're maybe facing up against 3 heroes, or 2 supports potentially zoning you, and when 2 supports are in mid instead, I just think it opens up how many levels you can get. And we'll see. Oh, Kefka actually taking a lot of damage at PSM, already used up that chilling touch, so...
Yeah, Darkseer died top actually. It was just smart play from Winter Wyvern and Viper. They just completely zoned out Darkseer to make sure he didn't get level 2, and as a result they got the kill.
Yeah. So as I was saying, I think maybe the offlane is having a bit easier time, both taking a huge amount of damage. So
yeah. Did you read the interview with Universe when he said that?
No, what did he say?
Oh, did you not? That's exactly what he said. So
oh no, I hadn't.
Sounded like you copied and pasted what he said.
Oh no, I actually hadn't. I didn't know Universe did an interview. I'll make sure to read that after. No, it was just something I was in a previous set earlier today, and we were discussing it, and it was really obvious in that set. It was something where both offlaners like got level 2 really early on, and then they had a really easy life, because with heroes like Darkseer and Slaughter, getting that level 2 really changes the dynamics of laning.
That's true.
So, and Solon here goes for Enfeeble. We actually don't see this often. It's really strange, but with the changes to Brain Sap, we usually see that and then Nightmare coming out of Bane. So I'm really interested. I wonder if this means he's planning on staying here for quite a while to ensure that Baby Knight gets farm.
Yeah, most likely, and it makes sense really. Like now Luna's gonna, like Luna has somewhat of a hard time to last hit because her animation's kind of weird, but with less damage as well, it's been very difficult to try and outlast hit this Ember Spirit now. But yeah, it looks like Spirit Breaker is gonna sit mid though. But from what I've seen, like he isn't able to do much though because he's a melee support. Like he can't really harass the Ember without taking damage from Flame Guard, and then it relies on Luna to try and get the last hits and the harass, which is just both too much to handle. Obviously, Bane can focus on harassing while Ember focuses on the last hits, but it just forces Spirit Breaker to sort of just sit at the back and make sure that Lena doesn't get dove on, which just isn't very efficient in the mid lane, as you can see.
Yeah. I also think it's really interesting, this top lane, something I hadn't accounted for, but of course putting the Viper up against the Darkseer means the Darkseer will, every now and again, if he's standing in too close, take that corrosive skin. and it's another just nice way of zoning him. Additionally, tanking up the Viper in this lane where you don't want to be too close. So Orbit has to be really careful, otherwise I think he could go down. But speaking of going down, Kefka doesn't know there's a charge coming in from the side. There's also going to be the Chilling Touch applied, and this will... Wow, he's gone. Oh,
yeah,
and a top lane we're losing. Oh no, Jalopy didn't find him? Okay, there we go. I was gonna say, this, yeah, this lane, or this game, really rough on both offlaners.
Yeah. Just nice rotation from Spirit Breaker. Like, he realises he can't do much mid, he can't really do much top either, because if there's going to be Viper sitting up there, like, I don't think they have kill potential on either Viper or Winter Wyvern. So he focuses on bottom and secures the kill on Slada, and I think this is going to be the pace of the game for the next maybe 5 to 7 minutes, because there's not much who else can really make rotations, honestly. So I think we're going to just see the offlaners going to have a very hard time, except if we see maybe a rotation from AA or Winter Wyvern to mid.
Yeah, and oh goodness, even with the Surge, Orbit's getting slowed so much from both the Octic Bone and that poison attack. It is... Both of these lanes look awful. I hear a charge. Never mind, guess it was cancelled. So, we do have Kefka though, again, in not the best of spots. Not sure they'll be able to catch him this time because, yeah, there was a charge used and cancelled. So, and mid has calmed down a little bit, although Ember is really dominating this mid matchup. Oh, actually, they're thinking about doing more onto Kefka. He got an invis, thought it would be a free escape, but they drop a sentry, and oh, the Doxia goes down again.
Discover what lies
This is...
beyond.
Okay, this is really weird to me. I haven't seen in recent history Doxia dying as much.
Dire's
Often
top
thought of as a
tower
hero
is
with an
under
easier
attack.
escape. Oh, they're gonna have a Slithering Crush mini. I'm pretty sure you're forgetting to use your talking. We're gonna have a nice little Light Strike Array at the same time. There's the bash onto Baby Knight, and I think that'll end the engagement. The Doxia is coming in mid. A lot of sentries being dropped all over the place, and suddenly we have 4 heroes in mid.
Yep, madness. And I think this is just how the way they set out their lanes is just causing the offlaners to have such a hard time, because mid's very static because there's 2 supports there, and the only other and the short laners are not going to rotate, so it's the offlaners that are going to fall victim to any kind of rotation. So one thing that will need to happen though, I think it looks like actually London Conspiracy are already on the task, is that they're stacking now for the Ember, because they want to make sure this Ember has a good start, and I think with the game how it's gone, I think London Conspiracy are going to be kind of okay with it, because if you see Yellow Submarine's draft, as I talked about, like, they're all looking for early game pressure, so if they have stacks to fall back on as well, just going to further secure Ember's farm, so I like it.
It's something where Ember in the mid lane, generally the trade-off is meant to be if you go mid you get levels, but if you go off lane you actually, not off lane, safe lane, you actually get farm. He's kind of getting both here. He's doing obscenely well when it comes to lost hits, and a lot of that was Bane's presence, but I think also just this Lina maybe not used to playing in this matchup, and with, you know, a lot of extra heroes around, having a rough time.
Yep, definitely, and it looks like actually Ember's going to be building drums. I'm not really too sure if this is what Baby Knight does, but regardless, I think it's definitely the right call to pick up the early kind of stats, just to sort of secure. I mean, we know there's going to be a lot of early fighting going on, so any kind of early stats is going to be very useful. So he's not going greedy and trying to rush like a Battle Fury post haste or travels. I mean, so I like the build from Ember.
Yeah, and we're going to be having a little bit of harassment coming out. Oh, the Spirit Breaker. He might take a Nightmare to the face. No, he's going to be fine. So, it's kind of... I feel like it's a bit slower than I was expecting for these lineups. I really was expecting a lot more aggression out of Yellow Submarine attempts on the bottom, but Kefka has been playing very safe, and again, it looks like Doxia is actually the one having a rough time. They're going to throw out a charge, but one more auto attack? Yeah, they've gotten Orbit stolen, though. He is going to take a lot of damage. He goes down, and can they catch Jalopy as well? One more auto attack with that Chilling Touch? They get him. An overextension that proves to be way too much for Yellow Submarine.
Yeah, really nice rotation from Spirit Breaker, and like you said, I think they're just trying to focus too much on this Darkseid, but I mean, this Darkseid's having a hard time already, so I don't think they really need to dive there, but regardless, just a bit of a mistake, and they got punished.
Losing their early lead for it, but it's not too big of a deal. I mean, London Conspiracy still, I think, have a really great late game with the Ember Spirit. He's also someone who I feel like it's really scary to play a Wraith King into as well, just from the standpoint of Baby Knight does have the option of going something like Scotty, which definitely can kite him a little bit more. And at the top lane we see, just with all the heroes back from London Conspiracy, AA chilling up there, he goes down.
Yeah, I don't know if Ember might go Scotty this game. It's not bad, but I think he might if he wants to. Like, there's kind of two ways you play Ember. Whether you play him like the glass cannon build, where you pick up like Blink Dagger and you sort of go full out damage with like Daedalus and loads of crit and just sort of sit back and sight fist as your bottom lane Slardar.
Yeah, they're going in deep, but they've dove past 2 towers. There could be a lot of TPs. The TP is actually cancelled, and Slaughter will be fine, so he gets all of this experience. And feeling good if you're Slaughter. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is potentially a game where the Ember can just go Glass Cannon. Looks like he's going to build up the drums before... Oh, he actually goes Phase Boots. I wasn't expecting that. But he's going to probably build up drums, judging by this Bracer, and there's also...
Yeah, he will.
There's also an opportunity to, I think... He can just build Glass Cannon, although... I mean, what slows do they have?
I prefer the pure tanky build, honestly. Like in this game in particular, like I talked about how there's gonna be a lot of early pressure when like there's gonna be kind of a time where I think maybe perhaps Wraith King picks up his first item, that Yellow Submarine are gonna start going as 5, and just going Glass Cannon. It doesn't really need to like you want to build Glass Cannon if there's a lot of melees, which I guess there is in this case, but Darkseer is always going to sit back, waiting for the good back wall. Plus, they have good catch as well. So if Lina does go like the Shadow Blade or whatever kind of items he wants to go, I think just building tanky, and I think like Scardy, perhaps even a BKB might be the better choice than going Glass Cannon, just sitting back and spam Sleight Fist. Sleight Fist, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. It'll also be interesting to see exactly how this team fight comes together for Yellow Submarine. I feel like Darkseer, he's had a really rough start. He's often a hero. I mean, he's lower level than the Ancient Apparition and the Spirit Breaker. Both supports have been moving around a lot. It's something where Darkseer, he's expected to get the mech, maybe even the Guardian Greaves, and then a Blink. I feel like he needs the Blink ASAP here, though, because there's so much his combo can do, right? If you can get a charge through all of them, if you can get a big AA Blast or Light Strike Array off on these, to London Conspiracy. So, him lacking farm may be what's stopping the aggression from Yellow Submarine.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he could go Blink, but I think mech is definitely more important, though, because seeing as Viper's building up his mech, like, the worst thing you can do when you're trying to take team fights is playing when you have the mech disadvantage. And there's no one else that can buy a mech on Yellow Submarine outside of Darkseer, so I think he's forced to go mech and just have a late Blink Dagger, unfortunately. But I think that's what needs to be done.
Agreed, and it's rough, as you said. I mean, you're choosing between kind of one not so great option versus another. Fighting into an enemy team with a mech always puts you at a disadvantage, especially when they have stuff like the Wyvern for extra sustain, although of course AA Blast might go off, but it's really hard to land that AA Blast unassisted early levels, so... either way, getting back into it, we've got some new items starting to show. Ember Spirit's actually saving up a lot of gold now. I have to imagine he finishes the drums before anything else, but if he's feeling that the game is going really smoothly, I wouldn't be... He might just build into the Battle Fury now. I just think he would want the drums, though. And we're going to be seeing a Blade Mail on Wraith King.
Yeah, so, yeah, I think he will go drums going back to Ember, just because, I mean, Viper's build up a mech, so it just seems like this team wants to fight, so it makes sense to try and build as much stats and early fighting items as possible. Yeah, he does pick up the drums right there. Like the worst thing you can do as well is when, like, you have split mentality in terms of what your team wants to do, actually top lane.
Oh, yeah, we have a little engagement, and it's going to be goodbye Wyvern before they even have time to blink. They also managed to land an AA Blast onto Jalopy. PSM taking a lot of damage, and with the Fiend Script coming in, but they managed to actually take out Jalopy. They're going to lose a lot for this, and the Fiend Script means Spirit Breaker goes down. It's Wraith King against the world. He needs backup ASAP, but instead he's going to be taking a lot of damage. Searing Chains is back up in 2. He does have that level 1 ult, but that would be considered such a waste, and it looks like he's going to be using that. Where is Lina? There's a buyback actually on the Spirit Breaker. Lina still hasn't rotated. Alt's in a lot of trouble. They use the Winter's Curse, but where's their damage output? And now with more folks coming back in, I think that London Conspiracy again have overextended. We talked about this. Cold Embrace doesn't save you from Lina, although you are saved if she can't attack. Wraith King ending up getting both of those kills though. So just, I mean, really overextension.
Yeah, that's why you don't die with Wraith King, boys. Yeah, you wondered why Lina was a little bit slow to rotate. He actually had no mana because he was spamming out mid, but even though he was late to the party, like, the buyback for Spirit Breaker was enough to just get a lot of return kills, and Wyvern brought back as well. Like, and this is exactly what we're talking about. There was going to come a time where all that aggression was going to happen, and there it was right there. So, yeah, I think London Conspiracy just, again, were a little bit too over-aggressive and were punished for it.
Yeah. Not the best. Although in the grand scheme of things, you know, the people who are on the top of the net worth chart still doing well. Yellow Submarine definitely extend their experience lead, but this is all something that one team fight could change. And then there's going to be a charge, and that's what I was talking about. You can get the searing chains off under tower. Just gonna stop that entire engagement. What's
that
wrong?
Ember was so much swag. Did you see what he did there?
I did not,
First
because
all...
now I'm focusing on Arts going down bottom. He doesn't have a secondary life. So they're making a lot of plays. You were saying, what did Ember Spirit do? That was so
there's
swag?
a charge coming from Barra actually coming down bottom.
I mean, he's charging onto a Viper with a lot of support around him. I don't know how well this is gonna land. Immediate Fiend's Grip coming out onto the Spirit Breaker, and this is not gonna be going their way.
Yeah, going back to the Ember, like, you could tell this baby nut is so comfortable on Ember though. Firstly, he searing changed to stop the charge out from Barra, and then he actually started to stop the ulti as well. And bottom lane, talking of him.
Yeah, he's getting the searing chains. He's moving around, making sure he dodges any sort of light strike array coming out. This guy, he plays a lot of Ember. It's something I've seen in other games banned against him. And as you said, yeah, he dodges the Ice Blast. He's very good with Remnants. A lot of Embers either play too aggressively, I feel, with the Remnants, or too conservatively, right? They use them either just for damage or... Oh, a chop, Furious Monkey. I don't know if they have enough damage. Oh, as I say, that Ice Blast coming. Furious Monkey, he's gonna pop up into the trees, but they vacuum them down. He's trying to TP up there, but they can see you. And goodbye, Furious Monkey.
Yeah, that was a nice attempt by Wyvern. I dodged the AoE, but yeah, going back to Baby Nut, this guy is really good on Ember. You could just tell, like, the way he plays, really pushing his heroes to the limits, and definitely paying off. But this is what we're told, like, each team have their items now, and both teams are sort of feeling capable and ready to take fights, and as a result there's a lot of action all over the map. So I think so far it's kind of a close game. I think the thing that will definitely sort of change the dynamic of the whole game is when they have the ability to start taking Roshan. But for the time being, they're going to keep trying to find advantage through kills, and both teams have the ability to do it. They need to secure a blink on Starter though, because he's the one that can't really, he's the one that needs to initiate but can't because he doesn't have a blink dagger. Yeah. Whereas, like, you see, like the Barra, he's kind of like the poor man Starter because he doesn't need a blink to initiate. So if they can secure blink on Starter, I think London Conspiracy will be in a good position.
Yeah, it also does feel like London Conspiracy, they actually could take Roshan now. It would just take them quite a while, and it'd be hard for them to be off the map. I'm not quite sure exactly what they need, because of course Baby Knight, he's finished drums, he's got a lot of gold on him, and as I say this, we got a charge up top. No time to talk about this. Are they gonna actually connect on it? They cancel the charge, and now more members of London Conspiracy are TPing up top as well. Oh, they know this is coming, but of course the ward behind the tower, it sees all. And I don't think London Conspiracy is getting the jump that they want on Yellow Submarine here. Oh goodness,
yeah,
they're gonna de-ward as well. Everybody's de-warding everyone.
This is so crazy. Like the first 8-9 minutes, there's like complete passive play, really static in lanes, and now there's just so much action. Like no one wants to farm it. It looks like the only people farming right now is like Ember, and that's about it. But yeah, it's just both teams just trying to find the advantage, because both their lineups are kind of phased or sort of directed at trying to win in the early and mid game, and so either team was trying to find the advantage over one another, and as a result just causing a lot of carnage and chaos, which is always good fun to watch, I guess.
Yeah. I also really interested because it does feel like Ember Spirit generally a hero where people are wanting to play him a bit more passively, and so I do like seeing this come out. There's going to be just a casual A blast. Tower's not going to be quite in deny range. Maybe they can use it to bait later or something. Oh, we do have a charge coming out. I don't know, charging a Viper, always super questionable. And yeah, they cancel it. I mean, after the aggression, as you said, for about 8 minutes there, it seems like things have just slowed down a little bit. Wraith King does have his level 2 ult up though, and it looks like he wants TP support. He looks like he might just throw out the casual stun. I feel like he might just get Fiend's Gripped here though, if he's not careful.
This is the right play by London Conspiracy. They're going to actually give up and sack the tier 1 tower for the try and pressure on tier 1 tower bot, and to try and secure this Slardar blink. Because like I said, London Conspiracy probably are on the back foot without a Slardar blink, because obviously the initiation advantage that Yellow Submarine have. But if they can get the blink on Slardar, I think they'd be definitely in a good position. So if they can get this tower bot, I think they can secure Slardar blink, and then from there start taking team fights. But it looks like Yellow Submarine are not going to give it up though.
Yeah, they have just destroyed the tower. They're even throwing in one of them long-range A blasters. They all know from London Conspiracy, though, So I don't feel like, oh, they're actually going in. Ember Spirit, he's dropping a remnant behind the tower. There's going to be TPs in. The Yules is up onto Lena, and now Solon taking that. But there's a wall vacuum. I mean, it does a little bit, but it doesn't seem to be enough. Baby Knight's bouncing all over the place. I don't know where he's eventually going to end up. A nice charge through a couple. The Viper's slowed down, but he's doing too much damage onto Orbit, it feels like. And now with a Winter's Curse and a Fiend's Grip going out onto the Sparrow, it looks like he might be the first to fall. Kefka's still somehow alive on the back lines. Not even sure how they took out the Viper, but with a Splinter Blast going around PSM, he's being hunted by Baby Knight. They throw a nice AA blast onto Solon at the same time as Ember Spirit manages to kill off him. And oh gosh, Orbit, he uses the mech, he uses the Soul Ring, a very dangerous proposition there. And is that really going to be it after all of that? It looks like it. Okay, that was a weird team fight.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just because it was very disjointed and sort of separated because Slardar had to run in because, like I said, he doesn't have his blink. But luckily it came out in favour of London Conspiracy because Yellow Submarine had to sort of TP in, and as a result their sort of positioning was a little bit off. Ember did a good job of kiting, actually. He was kiting both the Wraith King and the Darkseid just by remnants in and Syrian chains. So as a result, everyone was kind of split off, and it came in favour of London Conspiracy because they have kind of the better sustain with like Winter Wyvern and things like that.
Yeah, so gonna end up working out for them, but a messy fight. That was the saddest catapult heal I've ever seen. Coming out from Wyvern and now guarding a regen rune. I mean, I think Darkseid obviously still quite a ways away from that blink, but he can farm a little bit faster than the Slaughter. So I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up getting it only a little bit later than the Slaughter, despite having to go full mech in between.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. Slardar is close, but that's exactly what London Conspiracy need, though, because they have no other way of starting team fights. They're going to have to like rely on Slardar, like sprinting in, which just isn't reliable, obviously. So if they can get a blink, it'd be good.
So we're going to be seeing if Arts is going to go down here. There's going to be a charge onto Furious Monkey, taking a lot of damage there. And with the AA Blast, goodbye Wyvern. At the same time, Bane has an opportunity to re-goose, and they do manage to get the tower denied. Although Bane gets stunned up here. I think Solon, oh goodness, they even dropped the wall for that. That was killing Bane with great prejudice, and they want more. Slaughter, though, gets the Slithering Crush off before the charge connects, and Spirit Breaker not going to get it.
Yep, just again, like London Conspiracy, they're kind of reluctant to take team fights without a Slardar blink. That's why you didn't see rotation from Viper or Ember. And as a result, Yellow Submarine just taking more and more of sort of kind of an advantage because London Conspiracy aren't really willing to take team fights. But now they've got Blink and Slardar, I think London Conspiracy are going to look for a team fight. Perhaps may wait for the BKB on Viper, but if they see a good engagement, I think they're going to take it now.
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity to go in for one of them smokes, right? You know, just you've got the blink, you go for a quick set of smoke pickoffs or something, even if you just show for one. But what is happening in this bottom lane cafe? He's gonna have the debuff applied to him. He does have that blink dagger, so they know about it. They may have overextended, but they got the kill on Kefka. Here comes Baby Knight, though. He's doing a lot of damage output to everyone, and oh, with the Winter's Curse, can they get both of them? This is gonna be disastrous for the lineup. At the same time, Baby Knight, he's suddenly the one dropping with a crit from Artez, and now Solon needs to be backed up. I did not expect that Baby Knight was gonna be the one falling there.
No, unfortunately Viper didn't have a TP on cooldown, or off cooldown, sorry, because I think he TP top. As I was actually going back in, Wraith King going to kill the Wyvern maybe? Nope.
Oh, you're talking all the way up there. I'm like looking around like, what are you going on about? Nobody's going on the Wyvern, he's inside the base. But silly me, thinking that things were over.
Yeah, going over the items and Wraith King, I'd like that he's picked up his blink. It allows him to kind of give it the follow-up initiation to the Spirit Breaker, which I think is definitely needed. Also stops him getting kited to an extent as well. I thought he was going to pick up the armlet before the blink, which I wouldn't really liked, but he sort of stops off the Helm of Iron Will and then picks up the blink instead, which I definitely think is needed.
Well, what's your armlet hate? Well, why do you not like the omelet? Is it just because he went the blade mail, you're expecting him to go blink first?
Omelet's fine, but he needs to get the blink before omelet though, because he was too sort of immobile. But now he's got it. I like it.
I actually have to say I'm really impressed with how Wraith King is farming. We can see a definite lead coming out from Yellow Submarine, partly because of the past engagements, but Wraith King, traditionally a hero, yes, he's got Vampiric Aura, he has trouble farming, you know, he doesn't build into Cleave, he occasionally builds into Mjolnir or something, but obviously not what he's going up here, and it does seem sometimes has a lot of trouble getting those levels, and also the amount of creeps he needs. Oh, they're gonna go, oh, Ember Spirit immediately remnanting back. Baby Knight, great map awareness despite the Lina having an invis. But I was going to say, I'm really impressed with how he's kept himself at the top of the net worth chart. Part of that being that he's 3-1-4 and does manage to have 120 lost hits. But still, really great job from a hero that traditionally a lot of trouble staying up there.
Yeah, and going over to the Lina, actually, it wasn't an Invis, it was actually Shadowblade, and this is something that I talked about in the draft with Lina going Shadowblade against Ember Spirit, something that Miracle did in the majors, and I think it works very, very well because it gives him the initiation potential. Look, he's going to try and go for a kill here on Ember. Don't know if he can find it, but with the Shadowblade, he might be able to find the initiation. Oh, no, couldn't find it, unfortunately.
Did the Shadowblade break naturally? Because I'm really surprised. I feel like... It's really hard either way to get it off, right? The Light Strike Array is obviously a delayed time spell, and then of course Yule's into Light Strike Array. It's easy to hit on most heroes, but not heroes with instant cost point escapes like Ember Spirit. So
yeah, it's impossible to hit on Ember Spirit.
I wouldn't say impossible, I've seen one person do it, but either way we've got a team fight going on. They've locked down the H and Apparition, so there's going to be no blast yet. He still hasn't thrown it, he just throws it onto one actually, but the rest of the team fight, big wall coming out, Solon taking a lot of damage, and they'll get that kill. Baby Knight now already on the sidelines, and Jalopy gonna go down to the Laguna Blade from Lina. Can she get the auto attacks even with the mech? She does. Slaughter, he is trying to escape, taking a lot of damage. Baby Knight's still trying to cleave up, but instead, the rest of his team is gone. He just has to go for the TP out. He's really close to that Battle Fury, so I think playing it safe, not trying to go for a kill, even though a couple of heroes were low. And this could just be Roshan for them.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit too risky actually, so they're going to back off. But yeah, really nice armlet toggling from the break. He didn't even need to use his ulti right there, but I think the team fight from Yellow Submarine is definitely coming out in a clumped up sort of position around Roche. A nice Darkseer back wall into AA Blast doing so much damage, and London's Conspiracy, they don't really have the means to do actually middle lane.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of damage out onto the Darkseer, but there's going to be a blast, not even needed. Wyvern goes down. I also wanted to touch on the fact that we've had a lot of items come out just because we've had a lot of action. Oh goodness, is it? No, it's gonna stop. Okay. He went for the Guardian Greaves instead, and I really would have preferred the Blink, but he still seems to be, without the Blink, getting the initiation that they need on the Darkseer. And also, of course, Greaves, always fantastic against someone like Slaughter, who's giving out that minus armor, when Greaves, if you're below 20% health, will give you plus 15 armor, plus 15 health regen.
Yeah, and it helps with obviously Viper's Q as well. But yeah, I think they don't really want to take Roche. They don't want to get too low. Instead, they're going to try and find a pickup. Perhaps they can find the Ember as well.
Maybe it's a little ambitious, and he now does have the Battle Fury up. The timing on that isn't atrocious. Oh, okay, Lina not quite able to make that one latch since he was under tower. Looks like it'll just be easy Roshan for them.
I think London Conspiracy are going to try and fight though, I don't think they want to give up Roshan this easily without a fight. Bane's not here though, Bane needs to come down bottom.
Yeah, and they do have the Battle Fury up on the Ember Spirit, so it will do a bit more damage. It's not the best. Darkseer also positioning himself kind of oddly, and no, it looks like London Conspiracy have decided to give it up.
That's unfortunate. I think if Bane was anywhere near the Roche pit, I think they would have liked to have maybe taken it, but because Bane was off the top, sort of split pushing, they weren't able to take that fight 5-on-5.
At the same time, Baby Knight, he's going to Remnant all the way away. They do know where he is, but it looks like they decided to cancel the charge anyway.
Going back to Shadowblade on Lina though, with the Yule's combo, it actually is impossible to hit it on Ember. The only way, if he can latch it, is if Ember misplays. Like, as long as Ember fire Remnants actually onto himself, it should be fine, but it looks like there's going to be engagement perhaps on the Winter Wyvern.
Yeah, a lot of cancelled charges coming out of Music Note here. I think that's just a matter of not wanting to overextend. They should be able to feel that they're in the lead, almost 7,500 gold ahead, and also 7,500 experience. You take a bad engagement, the rubber band effect comes into full play, and suddenly you lost that lead.
Yep, smoke up here. They might find the Viper, maybe.
I'm a bit surprised. I feel like Viper maybe not the kill that you want, and oh goodness, will they get there in time? It doesn't look like a Jalopy is out. Feeling that something was funky, and a lot of their lanes actually being pushed in on the lineup of Yellow Submarine. One thing they don't have, I mean, obviously both Lina and the Darkseer have wave clear, but it's not as easy as someone like Ember Spirit, who's just going to be moving around the map pretty easily with all those remnants up.
Yeah, I think they need to push out lanes and then try and perhaps take the tier 2 tower top. That's a tongue twister for you.
Yeah.
because otherwise this Ember Spirit is just going to split push as much as possible to try and delay the timing on Aegis. Unless perhaps they try and like bait out perhaps someone's try and catch the Ember, maybe have a Lina like waiting in the lane. But if lanes are pushed in, then I don't think Yellow Submarine can group as 5, which they want to do because they have the Aegis.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing Lina. She is chilling in mid. They do have a smoke. They can wrap around on her, and oh goodness, it looks like Yellow Submarine want Lina to go right up the path into where the rest of the heroes are. Slithering crush on her. I'm not seeing a way out. She's going to use up by some time. Her team is coming in. The AA Blast going to hit on a couple. How have they really saved the Lina's life? She gets away with the Shadow Blade. She's going to finally fall here, but of course that is just the Aegis, and now Kefka on the sidelines. He's going to go down despite the Cold Embrace. That's what AA Blast does to you. Jalopy showing off that BKB before the Wraith King can do it, but Laguna Blade doesn't care about your BKB. On the sideline, Spirit Breaker has fallen, but Artez, he's looking for more. Let's see if he can find a Solon. Just nightmares him up. Do they have vacuum? Not for another 12 seconds, but he wakes him up. Solon gonna go down. So nice big crit.
Yeah, nice swap there from Orbit onto Artez and gets the kill. Yeah, it was a nice idea to get on the Lina, but the rotation from Yellow Submarine was just far too quick. The charge from Spirit Breaker just created a lot of chaos and gave a lot of time for the rest of the Yellow Submarine to come over. And as a result, Yellow Submarine, they get their team fight that they wanted, and they keep on getting further and further ahead.
And it does feel like it was just the case of really unlucky for London Conspiracy. It looked like Yellow Submarine were already thinking about going up there, and as I say this, we have a really weird chase from the looks of it. Yeah. Artez just being like, hey guys, I'm just gonna come and kill your wyvern for funsies, because that's what I do. I'm a murderer. He's having a great game. 7-1-7. It is, I'm not, I feel like I mention it a lot, but Wraith King really does have a hard time in games where there's a lot of things to kite him, to shut him down. And I feel like Arctic Bone, Viper's Poison Attack, you know, all easy ways to kite him, and they're just not able to seal the deal in London Conspiracy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how this Wraith King can die twice on this. Like, maybe him dying once, perhaps, but killing him twice, I don't see it happening. As long as you know Yellow Submarine, like as long as the rest of their team survive, I don't see them killing this Wraith King twice. And that actually is a problem, honestly, because I think the next item that Wraith King picks up, I'd like to see it be a damage item, so that they kind of have to resort to focusing Wraith King, but you can't kill him twice, as I said before. So I'd like to see him build some more damage. Perhaps a Radiance wouldn't be out of the question, just to give the missed chance of something that they like to do, but looks like he's going to go AC instead. Again, a decent choice. Just give him some kind of more damage and more presence in the team fight so they can't ignore him.
Yeah, on the other side, we can see that Baby Knight's farm progression has been pretty stunted since, all the bad engagements coming out from London Conspiracy. About 10,000 net worth and experience in the hole. AA also picking up a Glimmer Cape. I'm a huge fan of the Aghanim Scepter AA, but I understand the need for Glimmer Capes, and I think this game, where there's one where they can go up, they're fighting very aggressively, constantly in the face of London Conspiracy. It makes a lot of sense, but PSM, he may be the one in trouble because there was the charge away. They get the Slithering Crush, and this is just going to force the Glimmer Cape to wear out. PSM, goodbye. Tries for the TP, doesn't get it.
I mean, AA Ags is something that you always kind of want to look towards, but it's something that Puppy actually he plays a lot of AA, and back when it was like MLG and ESL in those kind of tournaments, that they were talking about how Ancient Apparition going for these early team fight items are just so much more useful for AA than just going straight for the Ags. And I think I tend to agree as well in this game in particular, because there has been a lot of sort of team fights, there has been a lot of engagements, and having like a point booster or a Staff of Wizardry is not going to help you in team fights, particularly not your team. So building like the items like Glimmer Cave and Force stuff, yes, it doesn't give you the same kind of potential as like an AA Ags does, but in terms of the early engagements, I think that it's definitely a lot more useful than going straight Russian Ags or straight Midas, for example. So I think it's worked out here, and also seeing as he's position 5, him farming an Ags this game is probably out of the question.
Yeah,
so
he would have had to go
being
Midas.
Respectful.
Right,
Yeah.
which is like, then puts him back even further. Oh, the Light Strike Array actually misses, but Laguna Blade doesn't care. And that was Wyvern, just goodbye. Yeah, 850 pure damage will do that, turns out. Surprise, surprise, surprise. I was also going to say, I feel like with Ancient Apparition, he's already a hero that needs a bit to come online, so picking up some useful teamfight items just makes him feel so much more effective early, and then lets him sustain in those teamfights, get experience. But we've got a Wraithfire Blast onto Jalopy, an AA Blast going to be thrown through. He's going to shatter, but they managed to get the deny. So, oh wait, I didn't know that was an interaction. I'm pretty sure the Bane was technically, oh, okay, we'll talk about it in a second. We've got Alt, he's trying to do something. Kefka's gonna manage to get off the Slithering Crush. Wraithfire Blast is up on Baby Knight, but they have a lot of damage pounding into this tier 3. Light Strike Array onto nothing, just speeding her up, getting those stacks of Fiery Soul. And I think the tier T3 tower going down. Artez is still really low. There's going to be a Splinter Blast onto the rest of the enemies. And now it's looking like that's a ranged Rax in the back pocket of Yellow Submarine. They throw up the Lena. She's going to take another Splinter Blast. There's a charge coming through onto the Bane. But again, not sure if that's the target you want to go on. Doesn't matter. There's a wall. There's going to be no vacuum needed. Winter's Curse going to slow things down. They finally take out Lena. But I don't think they need to worry. Artez is still on rocking 2 lives. I mean, oh goodness, he decides to go. And he's just going to pick up Furious Monkey before the Cold Embrace comes out. And with that Blade Mail, Baby Knight actually can't stand there and take it. So, looks like that'll be the end of the engagement.
Maybe. It looks like they want to go back in, actually.
Goodness gracious me, oh my. It does look like they might be thinking about it. They really want this Rax. I understand it's a melee Rax, and Artez, he does still have those 2 lives. So he's going to pop that Blade Mail, keep working away on the tower. He now might need a little bit of help. He might be respawning in a really awful spot, but because of how long his respawn takes, he might be able to get the blink away. No such luck. At the same time, Kefka, he's going down again. There's going to be a vacuum into nothing, and he's just going to wander away. Orbit, actually the one who takes this gank. And yeah, I think this Wraith King very lucky here that he's got teammates willing to sacrifice themselves for him. Baby Knight not able to get the Searing Chains to latch. She's gonna be right up next to him. The Searing Chains should land there, but instead the Wraith Fire Blast comes out. There's also a charge going in on Baby Knight if necessary, but with the blink away, I think we're good. I was gonna say, I think with the Bane AA, what happened is he was hit by the AA Blast, but technically Nightmare ticked him into shadow range, and it counts as a Bane deny, which I didn't know was that was an interaction.
That's exactly what happened. As a result, yeah, he got denied. I think that was exactly what happened. I think there was a slight. I think it might even be in the damage actually from Nightmare as well. Either way, yeah, regardless, it's nice to deny from Bane.
Yeah.
But they still lost the range Rax, and I think that just goes back to just the team fight already from Yellow Submarine. Like, unfortunately, Ember isn't at that point yet where he can just destroy everyone with the slightest fist. I think I talked about on other cast before where Ember in the mid game really kind of falls off. He hits this timing where in the early game, yeah, he's very, very strong. In the late game, he's very strong when he's got items like the Daedalus and the crit and everything, and the Sight Fish is just doing so much damage. But in the mid game, when he doesn't have the Daedalus yet, like, he just seems to not really offer as much as other kind of carries or other kind of mids. And I think it was showing there, like, you saw Wraith King just sort of stand up in the front ground doing so much damage. Obviously, Lena with a burst from the Ags, and obviously it was all to do with the catch from Viper as well. But Ember just really, I mean, has his Daedalus now, which might be the deciding factor, but unfortunately it might have been a little bit too little, too late.
Now, if you're going to be anybody facing up against super creeps, I think an Ember Spirit's a good option to be. Obviously, with that cleave, when the creeps start to stack up, you can do extra damage, so it's not as bad as it looks, and it is just a melee Rax. At the same time, they're now going to be contending against, yeah, dual life Lena, dual life Wraith King. I mean, this is not an easy team fight for them to take, and it does feel like London Conspiracy, they do just have the lesser team fight engagement without spells like Wall or Vacuum, and there's going to be a charge onto Jalopy. The Lena coming in, gets the Light Strike array on 2, one immediately blown up and deleted from the game, and the AA Blast gets the other. This should be an easy Rax. No buybacks this time, especially since I believe Kefka may have used his last time. Yeah, it's on cooldown. They could go for more, Tez. He's standing really far up, not getting the crits he needs on Baby Knight. And I think this opens up the bottom tower.
Yeah, it's just, actually gonna go back in on the Ember. No, he's gonna be fine. Like, again, they burst down the Viper because of that Lena Ags, and it's happened twice now, and they didn't have the correct vision nor the correct detection to sort of spot that from happening. As a result, Viper dies and they take a team fight 5v4.
Oh, Baby Knight might be taking a tumble. He manages to get out before the cold feet proc, but either way, this Rax is exposed. Artez and Lena just kind of zoning casually. Oh, that was not what I expected to break the Lincolns. There's going to be a charge coming in invisibly from the Spirit Breaker. Furious Monkey goes down, and AA Blast not going to actually hit anyone. Ember Spirit is coming around on the backside. He does have a nice Searing Chains coming out, and he remnants away. Slithering Crush onto 2. Can they do anything here? They do still have this bottom Rax. It's getting low. Viper Strike coming out onto Orbits. He may just tick out as well, and they managed to get the kill on 1. They have to burn through both of these lives for heroes. They've got one down on Lena. Kefka taking a huge amount of damage, but I fear at the same time Lena, she's already used her second Laguna Blade of this big initiation. Jalopy now doing a lot of damage as well, but the Wraith King is back. Can they just kite him enough? Lena, it looks like, is gonna fall again with BKB's active. She doesn't have a good way out of it. She actually dodges the last hit with her Yules, but the Slithering Crush is what finishes her off while we're watching Baby Knight fighting up against the Wraith King. Can he do it? Oh, and it looks like they've got more than enough to kite him. Wraith King goes down. Big turnaround from London Conspiracy.
Yeah, definitely, and I think just, it
Radiant's
was
top
Yellow
tower
Submarine.
is under
Just they were
attack.
saying they sort of stayed too long. Put simply, like Viper was resurrecting, and when Darkseer and Spirit Breaker died, like yes, Lena and Wraith King had both their sort of
Radiant's
Aegises,
top tower is under
but
attack.
the reason being is that they kind of need Darkseer and Spirit Breaker to sort of cause chaos to allow space for Wraith King and Lena to deal their damage. But when both of them are dead, it was just 5v3 at the end of the day,
Radiant's top tower is under
and so
attack.
AA wasn't going to do much after that as well. So yeah, Yellow Submarine just
Radiant's
staying a little bit too longer than they should have, but still signs of hope now for London's Conspiracy. They got Manta now on Viper and closing in on another Iron on Ember as well. So yeah, they still have a chance, but it is looking rather slim.
Yeah, and it was technically a big gold swing. It was something like almost 6,000 gold in favor of London Conspiracy. There's still about 14,000 behind then because of that. So it is not easy in the slightest. And it's an uphill battle, to say the least. But, again, Ember Spirit, I feel like it is something where if you had to have a hero up against Megas or Supers, you want an Ember.
Definitely. I think one thing that London Conspiracy need to do, they need to make sure that Viper doesn't get bursted down. Like from two of the team fights now have happened exactly the same way. Lena comes in and blows her up with Ag's Laguna Blade, and they can't have that happen. So they need to have better team fight vision, and they need to make sure they have correct sentry vision, or even perhaps look to go on the offensive instead. Like every single time Yellow Submarine is the ones that have been initiating the fights, and they keep bursting someone down. Whereas if London Conspiracy could try and find the jump with a Slardar, then perhaps the team fight might go the other way.
Speaking of trying to find a jump, we have smoke circling around each other. They managed to catch out the Darkseer, gonna surge up and away. Can they catch the rest of them here? Oh, Artsy's going in. He wants the Wraith King. I'm really surprised this is his target of choice, but we've seen already they do a good job of stopping him, and he gets the Bash Laguna Blade as well, and Jalopy goes down. Really, Wraith King? Really? You get the Bash?
I think Spirit Breaker was coming to charge him and bash him anyway, but yeah. Anyway, again, Viper dies, like, and that smoke was a little bit weird. They didn't have Ember or Slardar with him. It was a three-man smoke and going into the enemy jungle when everyone else was off the map. Like, they, of course, Yellow Submarine were going to go as 5, and perhaps they felt a little bit tilted, but regardless, though, they're going to fight again 3 times in a row this game without their Viper now, London Conspiracy.
And it seems to be, as you said, it's really hurting them. When the Viper was up, they were really able to kite the Lena, able to kite the Wraith King, but without that, a lot of easy damage. There's going to be a charge onto the Wyvern, already dropped that Cold Embrace, but that makes you an easy AA blast target. They've gotten the ranged Drax, and now they're looking for that melee. They have a lot of damage coming out. Of course, the Wraith King playing around, having that second life. Baby Knight, he's not getting the crits he needs. I mean, the man has a Daedalus, no crits coming out. He's not going to get anything. This board's being destroyed. They've got Kefka, he's gone in, but they just dropped the wall right on top of him. Laguna Blade again, a nice Winter's Curse. They kill off their own Spirit Breaker and a Fiend's Grip on Lena, but she immediately puts herself up into that Yules when she gets out, and PSM saving her with the Glimmer Cape. Can Baby Knight find more? He gets one. Art has had to respawn there, and I'm not quite sure where he blunk, but oh goodness, the Lena. Oh, he's still in there, the Wraith King. He's still trying to fight around it. Lena, she's probably waiting on those cooldowns. She doesn't have the Laguna Blade for 28 more seconds, and she is really nearby. She could hit a Laguna Blade, a Light Strike Array, but instead decides to back on out. Probably the safe choice, and they did get a full lane of racks. Again, a huge team fight in favor of London Conspiracy, but, you know, at some point, you're down all your racks, your tier 4s are taking a lot of damage. It doesn't matter how many team fights you take.
Is under attack.
So, yeah, I'm pretty sure you didn't push to talk again.
Oh man, I'm so bad at this. Like, I should.
Yeah, practice makes perfect.
Oh my god! I think I said like a whole like paragraph.
I know. That's how I know, because I'm like, you've been silent too long. There's no way you didn't pick up what I was putting down.
I'm so bad at this. Oh my god! I'm not used to TeamSpeak, man. I'm sorry.
You can also set it to open mic, as long as you don't have background noise. I think it's fine. So if that's easier for you, but either way, we're gonna be seeing a charge, a long-range charge. I'd be really surprised if this latches. It may just be vision, so Lena knows what's going on. But anyway, you were saying...
Yeah, I was just saying that London Conspiracy did a great job of kiting Wraith King. Again, Darkseer and Spirit Breaker were the first ones to die, and when both of them kind of heroes that create a lot of chaos in the team fight die, they kind of lose their presence. As a top lane though, Lena's
she's dead. They use the Winter's Curse. They have a gem on the Wyvern. I was actually a little bit surprised that they chose to break the Lincolns with the amp damage before noticing the gem up on the Wyvern. So suddenly Lena's... I mean, it's never... It's a nice pickup, the Shadow Blade. Some folks prefer the Blink. Of course, it makes a lot of sense against Baby Knight, yeah, who also just casually has a wall dropped on him.
He's got a rapier as well, by the way. That's what I was thinking it.
I did not know that, yes. I'm
Yeah,
glad
I
you
like
were
this
just
place.
saying, oh, it's one of those things, folks, just so you know, we can't ping items in when we're broadcasting. It's really annoying, because apparently, oh gosh, no, don't ping it.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Oh gosh,
Sorry.
literally every time I tell someone not to ping it, they ping it. Sometimes it shows globally, apparently.
Oh
So-
my god.
No,
My bad,
I
sorry.
mean, they dropped a wall on him. I'm pretty sure they saw it, so...
Yeah, that would have been really embarrassing.
Yeah, yeah, oh gosh, this is literally everything. No, but every time I tell someone that we can't ping items, it's literally the next thing they accidentally do. Because I don't think people think about it until you mention it. It's not in their minds.
I'm
Yeah, it's
sorry.
okay. No worries.
Regardless, Ember going rapier this game, I think is definitely needed. They're 2 racks down, and I think if there's one item to get them back into the game, it's definitely a divine rapier. So nice decision here. The one question though is, can they keep Ember alive in the team fights? And I think they can, honestly, as long as they have the correct vision. Like, as long as the Viper's the one dying first and not the Ember Spirit, like, I think that's fine. Like, they can easily just have Ember Spirit sit at the back and just spam out sight of Flist. If he can pick up a Blink Dagger as well, I think that'd be even better. So he can stay even further back, and his area of influence will be even wider because of it. But yeah, like, this is the item that is going to save him, if anything. But Yellow Submarine, I think they realise this, and I think what they need to do is make sure that Ember is the first one to go down. But it's a lot easier said than done. So
The Wraith King is getting pretty huge, and I also wanted to note, of course, if he can get up that Abyssal Blade, the Ember's in a lot of trouble. He doesn't have any sort of defensive items, and of course, if you went something like BKB or Monta, you can still get Abyssal pretty easily. Only Lincoln's would help there, and I don't feel like he feels he can go for it. It does feel like if you go for a defensive item here now on the Ember Spirit, it would be like a game-losing defensive item, because you're gonna lose more slowly.
yeah, I agree.
So we're gonna have the Wyvern flapping around. Also, Viper. He, as you said, picked up the Monta. It does feel like a lot of these heroes on London Conspiracy a bit stunted, but they're also saving for buyback, is what you can see here. A lot of them trying to make sure that they have buyback in this coming engagement, because of course when you're fighting in your own base and you have buyback, you got a better chance of taking the team fight.
Dyer's
They
Yeah.
go for a
top tower is under
smoke.
attack.
Yeah, I think they might just try and catch Yellow Submarine by surprise. But one thing for certain, they need to make sure they keep these lanes pushed out, though. They need to make sure mid's pushed out and bots pushed out, because otherwise Yellow Submarine can sort of attack from the mid ground, which would be a lot easier than attacking on high ground. So that's something that they need to make sure they can push out, and they have the ways to do that. Obviously, they've got the Ember, but Winter Wyvern with his W is something that they need to do, because if if Yellow Submarine can sort of walk into their base uncontested, they can catch Ember out without him noticing. So it's very, very important that they keep mid and bot pushed out, so that Yellow Submarine have to go high ground through the top lane.
Yeah, and I feel like this pause could really affect things. We've seen this before. It's going to give both teams a bit of time to think about what they want to do and kind of get their thoughts together on this next engagement. It can also be a real pace, it can slow down the pace of the game. It could put Yellow Submarines on a bit of trouble, and yeah, we have lots of people DCing. This is typical. Let's see if we've missed any big item pickups other than the Rapier. We've got a 4-staff on the Bane. Of course, Viper hoarding gold in case he needs buyback, which I'll put up on the screen again. Wyvern, I mean, Glimmer Cape, I have to assume the only next thing you can go. I mean, maybe some sort of movement item, but I have to say, I think a refresher. Hard to get your hands on. But
yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to farm that. I think
before the game ends, you don't think?
Blink or Full.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's going to be able to get a refresher. And I think if he can get his hands on a refresher, the game's already won for London Conspiracy. Like, the biggest thing right now is that can they defend this next set of racks, which Yellow Submarine are going to try and go for in the next sort of 5 minutes. And he's not going to be able to get a refresher in the next 5 minutes. And obviously, if he can get it, then obviously the game's practically already won, because London Conspiracy would have won like 2 or 3 team fights in a row. So I think 4-staff or Blink than Blink, because although Blink will be better for his positioning, I think they have to keep like Ember and people like Viper alive, so 4-staff would be a lot better to kite a Wraith King than a Blink would. So I'd like to see 4-staff. Plus, it looks like London Conspiracy, from how the team fights are going, they're playing it on the sort of the back foot. They're not taking the initiative incentive, so as a result, they'll need items like 4-staff to sort of have counter initiation potential.
I mean, it does feel like their
I'd like to see a
initiation.
4-staff.
Yeah, it feels like their initiation is a lot weaker as well. I mean, just their team fight in general, the big ult that they're playing around is that Winter's Curse. Maybe you get a big Slytherin crush, but they just... Viper doesn't bring a whole bunch to a team fight. Bane has single target lockdown. You know, it's not the best, it feels like.
No. I think BKB on Starter is quite important though as well, because I think how the team fights have been happening is like, it's like depending on kind of whether Spirit Breaker charges in and like they get a good Dark Seer wall, but if Slider can sort of jump in with a BKB and sort of disrupt that, it'll just give a lot more space for Ember, because this is exactly how the team fight needs to go down for London's Conspiracy. They need to create as much chaos as possible to give Ember as much space as possible. Because if Ember can sit back with his Rapier and spam 2 or 3 Slider Fists in a team fight, they're going to win the team fight. But if Yellow Submarine can get the initiation they want, perhaps on the Ember Spirit, they're going to lose. So they need to create as much sort of space. And the BKB from Starter is going to provide them that.
Yeah. It looks like they're headed into the Roshan. Obviously a nice little pickup for them. So, gonna be something good, maybe gonna help them seal out the deal in this game for Yellow Submarine.
One thing that would be kind of a little bit out of the ordinary is if they try and ward the runes, actually, because if DD can be picked up by Ember, like that would be really, really important as well. It's something they probably won't be able to do because they can't really get outside their base, but if they could perhaps see a DD and pick it up from Ember, that would almost secure the team fight then for London Conspiracy because of the Rapier damage.
Yep, now we've got charging onto illusions. I think, I'm not quite sure why, it does feel like Yellow Submarine's a bit cautious about this. I understand that if they missed on a couple more team fights, and I'm pretty sure they'd known about the Rapier when they did the wall vacuum, but I'm not sure they have to be this cautious, because obviously if they can take a team fight anywhere, look at how low these tier 4s are. I mean, you've got 2 lanes of supers. They're just gonna break down this base.
Lena just picked up a Hex, by the way, which is a very important team fight item, because if they can catch, like, she no longer needs to have the Shadow Blade into Light Strike away to get their initiation. She could even pick up a Blink, maybe even sell the Shadow Blade and just blink into Hex onto the Ember Spirit. And if they get the follow-up from Wraith King as well, they might be able to just kill the Ember Spirit just from full to nothing. Yes, they're going to have the Cold Embrace from Winter Wyvern, but if they can secure like an Ags Laguna Blade, that might be enough to just kill the Ember. But we'll have to wait and see.
So, gonna be seeing that final, most likely, or you know, could be the game extending engagement coming out here. Can London Conspiracy do it? They have a lot of work they need to do, and they're getting really big crits now on Baby Knight. I would actually love to see him replace the drums with another crit. Or another Rapier, you know, just casually. More Rapiers, more fun for everyone. Either way, the push, it's coming. The creeps are being killed off. Lena's getting some little bits of chip damage onto that tower, working away at it. Missing uphill quite a bit, but it looks like they've got the tier 3. They've got Slithering Crush onto the sidelines. They've already picked up the Ancient Apparition, so this already makes their team fight a lot better. I can hear BKB's coming out, and Kefka, he is getting ready to go in on that slaughter. They've ripped apart the Spirit Breaker as well. Now it's looking like the Wraith King, he is getting kited around. They do have creeps coming into their base, so they have to be careful, but look at how much damage everyone's taking. Lena's gonna go down once. The Wraith King's on the deck once as well. The Doxy, he does get a big vacuum off, and now he has to get all the way out. Effigies are falling. Jalopy taking a lot of damage, but Lena explodes to the Wraith King. They've lost the tier, not the Wraith King, the Ember Spirit. They've lost the tier 4. They have to go back. I mean, they won that team fight, but does it even matter? They lost so much more damage on this tier 4. They lost a full tier 4.
Now that was fine for London Conspiracy. They just try and delay the game. Like if they can get perhaps even more damage on the Ember Spirit, like they can win this game. And it's exactly how they needed to take this in team fight. Slider jumps in with BKB, causes chaos. Ember Spirit is not targeted at all. As a result, able to get 3 or 4 Slider Fists and does so much damage in that team fight. You probably didn't see the fight recap, but he did so much damage just because he was able to sort of sit back and just do damage with his Rapier. So yes, very, very good. I think the way Yellow Submarine sort of took that engagement probably wasn't the best. Like I said, although London Conspiracy needs to push out the waves mid and bot, I think if Yellow Submarine can keep mid and bot pushed in, they might even be able to sort of take them by surprise through the mid and then sort of jump Ember from the side. But instead, they went high ground and gave Ember enough time to just give loads and loads of side fists. But they've smoked here though. They might be able to get a pick off down bottom.
Ember also suddenly has no gold. What did he buy out?
Travels.
Oh gosh, we've got a bit of an engagement onto the Wraith King. He does, of course, have that second life health, only 60-second cooldowns on that. But again, they're just going to take him out from far away. And nobody is really pushing in far. The Doxia is kind of pushing in. Wraith King, he's trying to do some return damage, and Ice Blast is going to hit on a number of them. But with that BKB up, I think goodbye, Wraith King. He can turn around and try to attack. He gets a 1.4k crit on the Ember Spirit. And again, I talked about it. Yeah, Doxia was pushing up this top lane, but not doing nearly enough damage from the looks of it.
Oh, Spirit Breaker?
Yeah, he gets Fiend's Grip immediately, and Baby Knight, let's see what type of crits he can buy out today. Oh, 1.5k. Nice. Nice. That's new personal best. he also now suddenly has a bunch of gold. I don't think he had... Okay, he's still a little bit short of buyback, but he'll get it really fast. You know, he can probably just kill these ancients. It's suddenly not so easy for Yellow Submarines. It's become one of those games where both teams have trouble ending it just because, of course, London Conspiracy need to push out all their lanes all the time, but Yellow Submarine, I'm not sure how they get in this base now with how much damage this Ember is doing.
Yeah, there's no way Yellow Submarine can just push high ground. They need to try and find a pickoff before they engage on the racks, and that has to come from a pickup onto the Ember. Like this Ember just sort of sitting in the background with the rapiers doing so much work. They need to find a smoke, they need to find this Ember, and if they can't find it, I don't know, this is madness, this game, honestly. Like, simply just doing this one item from Ember Spirit is keeping him in the game. Yeah. Yes, like, Viper's got items now, he's got Heart, but it all comes back to Ember with the Rapier because of the amount of damage he's doing. It looks like he's going to build into a Link Sphere as well, which is the perfect item build, because then there's no way they can catch him. Like, they can't charge him, they can't hex him, they can't Laguna Blade him, they can't stun him from a Wraith King. The only way they can lock him down is, like, a Light Strike of Ray, which is just not going to hit realistically. So, if Ember Spirit gets this Lincolns, it's going to be very, very difficult for Yellow Submarine to really try and take an engagement. The top lane, this could be it.
But he doesn't have the Lincolns. He does manage to drop the Light Striker. There's going to be a full stop as well. A big AA blast coming out, and Baby Knight, he is pulled through the wall. He gets off a nice Sleight of Fist, though, again, doing so much damage. He has remnanted away. Solon, though, very low, I think is going to explode here, and now Baby Knight on the back foot. He needs to get a bigger Sleight of Fist. He does manage to... Oh, goodness, where is he? He remnants. And TP's away. Did he really just TP away in front of them? Wow.
Yeah, that was the right play to
okay.
make. Bane was already dead, and they had the back foot in terms of initiation, so it is good that he actually ran back, because then he didn't die. But now they're going to fight 5v4. Bane did buy back. Does Slider have a buyback?
He does have one.
He does,
it's
that's
back
fine.
off of cooldown,
yeah,
so...
That could be big. Yellow Submarine might not know that, but they might not even push, because they think it might be too risky. Yeah, they're not even going to push, they think it's too risky.
They just bought out on the Wraith King. He has got himself the Abyssal Blade. And
they're going to smoke as well. They have to catch this Ember. It's so important that they catch this Ember. Are they going to smoke down mid? Or bottom? Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about. They're going to try and go through the high ground and catch them in their own base. This is perfect play. Will it work, though, is the question.
Yeah, and it depends on who breaks it. If the Wyvern breaks it, you're going to be suddenly very disappointed. They have to go, go, go. The smoke is at half the duration. I think they're trying to get a little bit of... Oh, goodness. They just saw them place the ward. They actually know all the members of London Conspiracy playing way on the left, making sure that they can't be snuck up on, and this smoke is
really
blown.
Smart play. A really smart play. I mean, that's what Yellow Submarine needed to do, though. They needed to make that kind of play. But London Conspiracy were definitely privy to it, though. Really smart play, staying on the tier 4, the left side of the tier 4 tower, so that the smoke would break if that was the case. Now Yellow Submarine, I don't know, they're almost feeling running out of options. I think in this position, like London Conspiracy are fine to sort of sit back, because there's no way that they're going to almost lose a team fight if they stay on the high ground because of Ember, particularly when he gets his Lincolns as well. Yeah, like, this is he's got his Lincolns now as well. Yellow Submarine, I don't know. This is going to be very difficult. They have to almost try and It's just crazy.
He did buy out for the Lincolns, but again, if you don't have a backup rapier, you may as well. Because, right, you lose without a rapier generally.
Definitely.
So
but I don't think he's going to die, though, unless he gets hit by a Light Strike of Ray. Which I don't think is going to happen. Like, unless they could, the only way that Yellow Submarine can actually kill this Ember is if they somehow coordinate both their single target abilities to try and catch up the Ember Spirit, to try and break the Lincolns. Like, it has to be maybe a charge plus a hex from Lina, which to be fair isn't out of the question. Like, they can charge from Spirit Breaker and then hex from Lina, but there has to be perfect coordination from both of them. Otherwise, they're going to just die.
Yeah. We also have no one except the Slaughter having buyback in this game. It's a bit ridiculous. We're 52 minutes in. Usually we see a lot more people having buybacks, and it's not even timers on Yellow Submarines. They just don't have one, and I think they're maybe underestimating the power coming out of this Ember Spirit. I think, honestly, if they can get outside of their base, he hits like a truck.
Yeah. So, I think Yellow Submarine might try and wait for next Aegis, which I guess will give him some kind of presence in the team fight, but... I don't know, I think they're still almost waiting for an opportunity to present itself. But London Conspiracy, they're going to sit back into their base. They are not going to try and rush this, because this is the right play to make. They're going to try and almost bait Yellow Submarine into a bad position, try and overextend. But, I mean, we could be in a stalemate for a while, to be fair. I mean, Roshan's going to pop up now. Yellow Submarine are definitely going to take it. Like, London Conspiracy, I don't think they can engage outside their base, because they're going to just lose from the vision advantage and perhaps get Ember initiated on, so... But I don't know how much this Aegis actually does, though. Unless
I mean, we've seen in previous team fights, it doesn't seem to do anything. They just get killed twice.
because like I said, they have to kill the Ember, but they can't engage on him because they've got Bane and Winter Wyvern backing him up, plus Slardar Blink and things like that. This game is pretty crazy, actually. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty like they have to kill the Ember, but trying to get that done is a lot easier said than done.
He's also playing really well, playing back all the time, and it's just really well done from the lineup of London Conspiracy. So
it really is. Like in a position like this, it's very easy to sort of try and tilt. Perhaps Ember gets too aggressive and dies with the rapier. But look at his whole team is literally sitting in base while Ember does everything. Because I mean, at this point in the game, the only person that's really going to do anything is this Ember. So this game is very much on Baby Knight. So a lot of pressure.
Yep. It's gonna be another Sleight of Fist, decimating a creep wave. Let's see if they can get some chip damage. Actually, Wraith King, he is just going in, saying, I got 3 lives, I can do this. He's destroying woods, because that's what you do as a Wraith King. He's taking a lot of damage. He's already down to 2/3. He's going down to half. He's trying to walk on out, but he's already taken the Viper Strike. He is so slow. They get the Guardian Greaves. Splinter Blast doesn't manage to hit anyone, and the crit, the 1.6k crit. Wraith King is down. That is life number 1. They could wait 60 seconds if they want, but it looks like they really want the racks, and Wraith King, he is going in. He's trying to see what he can catch, but I think you just work on the racks. Ember Spirit, he needs to get off another big Sleight of Fist. There's going to be a Fiend's Grip onto odds, but they have damage that is not the Wraith King. A nice Sleight of Fist. It doesn't seem to do enough crits, but they burnt another life. They Laguna Blade down the Slaughter immediately. The cheese is eaten on Spirit Breaker. He is being decimated in the front lines. Ice Blast going to hit on a number of them. Can the Ember Spirit do it? He needs to kill off 2 more, it feels like. Spirit Breaker does go down, Slithering Crush onto orbits. They have to pulse through the wall to get to this, and the Lincoln that's been popped, he's turned into a little bit of a piggy. He's being force stuffed around. They're trying to save him. He's under a Glimmer Cape, but everybody has vision up here. At the same time, now it is Wraith King against the world, and he does not have a secondary life for 15 seconds, but they have Megas. And finally, Orbit gonna go down. Inconsequential.
Alright, so they get Megas, but they die all 5 as a result. I think, honestly, that was actually the right play to make. Like, and I think that's the only thing they could do. But they couldn't. They were close to killing Ember. Like, that's what they popped the Lincolns and they were able to get the Invisible Blade from Wraith King, as we said before. But now they're fighting against Mega Groups, which isn't the biggest of the deal. The only problem is that I think they might even be able to just Zerg onto the shrine. Like, that was the right play that Yellow Submarine had to do. They couldn't win the team fight, they just had to Zerg onto the racks, which is exactly, they just threw bodies at the racks and they got them. But now, like, they have buybacks, right? Yeah, they have buybacks on everyone. So they're not they're not going to lose racks here themselves. The problem is can they get the shrine, or can they kill Ember when they're fighting into the Dire base? Is the question. Because Yellow Submarine are all going to buy back now. They're going to defend the racks here, and then they're going to push out all the lanes because they have super creeps. But yeah.
Yeah, Megas.
Megas, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. They changed it. It was horrible. I swear it used to be supers, and now it's like supers with 1 racks down and megas with all 3. But maybe I'm also drinking the Kool-Aid. Either way, folks, waiting to see when exactly we get the buybacks. We also have a glyph, just making life even harder. Solon has TP'd in, so they can't go back if the creeps are pounding away on their ancients. And yeah, Viper is like, we're going for it. They want to use double lives. They don't want to use the buyback. They decide that they have the 4 seconds, but I think Wraith King may need to. It is very greedy, but also arguably buying more time for this action. And we'll be seeing what's going. The Slithering Crush lands onto the Doxy. He does have Wall Vacuum, but if he's too dead to use it, it doesn't matter. He manages to... Something pops the Lincolns onto the Ember Spirit. Vacuum comes out, a wall a little bit after the fact. Baby Knight is being locked in position quite a bit. The Remnants away. They still don't have the tower down, and they only have 1 in their base. Oh, the Slaughter goes down. They're also trying to work in on Jalopy. This is a tanky Viper. I'm pretty sure he's going to go down anyway. Yeah, he just decides to turn and fight. If I'm going to die, I'll take someone with me. And their Ancient is taking damage, but with both the Wyvern in the game and Baby Knight, I think they can defend this. You got to watch out for those catapults, though.
They should be able to defend, but... So yeah, Yellow Submarine, they decided not to buy back, which probably was the correct choice. It's a little bit greedy, but they didn't really cost too much, just a couple of towers. Now they've got Mega Creeps, and I think we've learned, especially no longer having the high ground advantage, because now, like, literally, Yellow Submarine can sort of walk up here and then they build level footing. I think they're going to be able to get the vision advantage to catch the Ember out. And even if they don't kill the Ember, they might even be able to Zerg the Shrine, because it's like 50% HP. Oh, they might be able to catch him here. This would be big. No, couldn't catch him.
Yeah, he's very quick on that Remnant.
They might be able to just Zerg the Shrine anyway, but this is it.
We're seeing what they can do. The creep waves continually being brought down. Oh, it's just going in. Oh, he is just going for it. He's actually going to try to kill off the Wyvern. One more auto attack. They managed to get her. She doesn't have buyback. They've also got... Oh, Baby Knight. He is caught out of position. That's GG. Radunsky. And they call it. But really nice hold.
Really, really close game as well. But it was all because the vision advantage was able to be there because there was no high ground advantage because they could just walk up into the dire base. They were able to catch the Ember. But yeah, really nice play though, really close game as well, and very thoroughly enjoyed it. But yeah, I think if we're going back to actually the whole part of the game, Yellow Submarine, they had the better mid-game advantage. The first Roche was taken by them, and as a result, they were just able to sort of steamroll with momentum. Yes, the favour was maybe a little bit back and forth between the Ember picking up the Rapier, but overall, I'd say Yellow Submarine had that game in favour for most of it anyway.
Yeah, so folks, once again, thank you so much for watching. I've been joined by Minnie, who goes by Minnie Esports on Twitter. Please show him your love. I'm Llama Down Under. We'll get you guys into Game 2 right quick. These are, I believe, best of threes but single elimination format for the qualifier tournament. So, London Conspiracy, they gotta take the next one, force it to a Game 3. Either way, we'll get you right into that after some messages from the sponsors.